Yo, party people. What's good? What's good, party people? Man, I'm in a new space here, man. I feel weird. Man, just rocking out for this afternoon space for a little bit, just kicking it with y'all. You got some free time, man. So I want to kick it with y'all and talk Knicks. Right? What's good? What's good? What's good? Checking on a few things here. Just checking on the daily news, so to speak. Just want to see if there's any movement on the Donovan Mitchell front or any moves on the Knicks front, period. Okay. Mr. Lee is in the building. Sav NYC, what's good? Rodolfo Irizarry, what's good? Just coming through, saying if any news out here on the Knicks front. I don't think that there is. Man, how y'all doing? What's good? Seems like we always together. Seems like we are always together. I'm just checking sources here. Let me see. I'm checking sources here just to see if anything new has happened. I don't see. I don't see anything new out here. Okay. Okay, no news out here. No Knicks related news. Philip Casanovas, what's good? For Shizzle, what's good? Joe Madden, what's good? Chuck Allen in the building, what's good? All right. Things are what they are. No news, no new news on the Knicks front. Okay. No new news on the Knicks front. I'm gonna put just join out. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, man, for a little while. Maybe somebody come hang out with me. Maybe if I be a good boy, somebody will come over and keep me company. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I am nervous about this Donovan Mitchell thing, though. Joe Madden.
What's up, Freezy?
Man. Tired, bro, but I feel like I gotta be here for this Donovan Mitchell stuff.
Yeah, I don't think much is happening. I think this is all hardball. Like you look, Danny Ainge is trying to get more out of the Knicks. The Knicks have probably the best 2 or 3 packages, but like have the best packages or 2 or 3 best packages. He's trying to get more. But I think the list of teams he got Shams to put out is ridiculous. Like, what are the Atlanta Hawks trading? Trae Young? Like they just give up their picks for Murray. The Hornets, people forget, like the Hornets, I don't think can trade picks or consecutive picks because they have a pick going out to the Spurs that we gave to Atlanta.
Right.
So last year's draft. And
Right.
then Toronto maybe, but I don't see Masai Ujiri going out and giving up 4 unprotected picks and maybe Scotty Barnes or something to get Mitchell. Because yet again, you have to look at these teams. Is Donovan Mitchell? His player option, I think, is up in 3 years. Is he resigning?
Talking about there? Yeah, no.
Like in certain spots, is he resigning? Is he resigning in Charlotte? Is he resigning in Toronto?
Yeah.
We went over to Miami. What can Miami do unless they start doing deals where they can shed off maybe Robinson and Hero and get more picks in? But still, I don't think even if they get like 2 more picks out of somewhere, that's still I don't even think is enough or compared to the Knicks deal. So it's all hardball, kind of like Woj and Brian Windhorst said it last week. They said anything that comes out now is stuff. It's all hardball for the Knicks to pay up.
Okay.
So it's
okay. Yeah, man.
It's all smoke, I think.
So when do you anticipate this? Wait a minute, let me do Ashley Ainge, thank you for the generous contribution. Thank you for the super chat. Ashley Ainge says salute. Hey, salute, bro. Yeah, man. So when do y'all anticipate this? Chuck Allen, what's good, bro?
What's up, Chuck?
What's good, what's good, Joe? How y'all doing?
Good, bro.
Man, tired, bro. I couldn't lay down and take a nap. I could.
Oh.
How you doing, man?
But what? I'm good, man.
Jermaine Royster's in the building. Bing bong, what's good? Yeah, man. When y'all anticipating something happening though? Why are we always staring at the boiling pot? When is the water gonna boil? When is something gonna happen?
See, that's the thing. Other fan bases might take it easy, but since the fact that the Knicks have had nothing and are looking for something big to happen, we're waiting. This stuff takes time. This might be something that goes start going into the season. But I don't think it'll go that far because I think Danny Ainge is more or less showing his hand now as like putting out this fake rumors that certain teams are involved or want to make moves. So he's trying to show that he does want to move because they're in on Victor Wembanyama or one of these top 3 picks.
Okay.
And that's not going to happen. Like you see Jazz fans on Twitter being like, "Oh, Donovan Mitchell without Rudy will be a bad team." Yeah, but 500 of around that, and I don't think Danny Ainge wants that. I don't think he wants purgatory next year, or he wants Donovan Mitchell not happy enough, not winning enough games, and him wanting out.
Okay. So there's a report that came out today's the 25th, right? There's a report by Tyler Conway that says the New York Knicks and Miami Heat are reportedly not alone in their pursuit of Donovan Mitchell. The Wizards, Raptors, Hornets, Kings, and Hawks have expressed interest in trading for the All-Star guard. Per The Atlantic, per Shams. The Knicks remain in front. Okay, that's the same stuff that we've been seeing, right? But to be honest with you, when I see these things that say per sources and reports and level of interest, these things are nebulous items that nobody can refer to because it's like ghost whispering. Right? Like even the Shams report, like Joe said, like per Shams, but he said they showed a level of interest, but they didn't say how much interest. It's like me being interested in a Ferrari. Hey, Uncle Freezy, are you interested in a Ferrari? Yes. How interested? Not really. I can afford a Ferrari.
Right.
And you're not going to see many reports about these teams. Like, is ESPN or Shams or The Athletic or any of these dudes really going to sit and being like, oh, Atlanta could be in on Donovan Mitchell? It's like, what are they giving up? Trae Young? You can't trade Dejounte Murray until Christmas, until like the 15th. The season starts. I think he might even be closer to the deadline before you can trade him. And are they really going to do that? Like, so if you're going to bring teams in, let's be realistic. Put in teams like the Boston stuff, the teams that have young players and assets that could do moves. Don't be putting in like and places that Donovan's not going to want to go or re-sign. Like, he ain't going to Sacramento. He's going to tell me he wants out the minute he gets there.
Right.
So they ain't going to do a deal. And the only deal what they can do is what? Davion, Keegan Murray, who they just drafted, and a couple of picks. They're not going to do that.
Right.
Especially for a guy that's not going to be like, and if they were going to want another guy, they would have just drafted Jaden Ivey. So doing a Donovan Mitchell move for them is just stupid, in my opinion. So it's all games, bro. It's trying to get the Knicks to pony up, and I see one source is kind of like it's Danny Ainge is trying to put this out there to make James Dolan nervous because they know the history with the Knicks. Right. If Dolan's like, do you know what? When you get this deal done, let's pony up.
Well, what if it's like with a man right here, William Turnbull is saying maybe the Knicks are looking to pick up or get some of those Minnesota players that won't be available for trade until August 30th. Maybe like a Pat Bev, maybe a Vanderbilt.
I like Vanderbilt.
Especially if Obi's a part of the deal. So maybe they're waiting to get him back in the deal. And
August
maybe Pat
30th,
Bev.
man.
I'm saying they can't be traded until then. And I mean, those might be guys that they will be looking at as Pat Bev as the backup point guard, right? And Vanderbilt as your backup power forward.
Okay.
Maybe. I have no information other than just speculation.
I could see that because Brock Eiler seems to be the type of dude to try and get everything most out of the deal. So if the Knicks are like, yo, I'm giving you 5 or 6 picks and a young player and salary, y'all got to give me something else. So maybe the Knicks are like, there's something else that I want or that we can negotiate with. A couple of them pieces are off the table until a certain date. So maybe they'll be waiting. I'm not sure if that date's towards the end of the summer or that to go into December too. Or is December kind of just free agents or a bigger piece in a trade?
Right.
Regardless of the fact, you know what? Hey, Freeze. Hey, Joe. Hey, Chuck. Regardless of the fact, I am super annoyed right now. And I'll say it like this. The Boston Celtics just went to the the NBA Finals. And they are not hesitating, trading away their homegrown star to make their team better. And we're still here talking about not overpaying, not doing this, not adding that, but they're adding Jaylen Brown with more picks because in the NBA, you need stars to win. So what are we doing? This is my frustration. I don't get it. Hold out for what? If you want your guy, go get your guy.
See, the thing is, though, Jay, you got to look like Boston. Yeah, they just went to the NBA Finals. So Kevin Durant, generational type player in his prime or towards the end of his prime, that pushes them into a title. A Donovan Mitchell move right now doesn't put us into a title. So what you kind of do is you got to see it's not what you give up. It's kind of what's left for the next move. So I think the next move might get a little bit easier because Jaylen Brown, to me, ain't going to re-sign there in 2024.
But this is the thing, right? More than likely, the Boston Celtics are going to have to send away a lot of things. You think they're worried about which vet they're going to swoop off the street to go play for their team? No. What is everybody going to worry about? The Knicks can rebuild. The same way we got here is the same way we can get here again. These guys added more picks. They can add more picks again. They do it every draft. They draft good players that most of these guys didn't even know who they were till they were Knicks.
Right.
Most people didn't even think about Emmanuel Quickly. Most people didn't even know who Willie Quentin Grimes was, unless if you're a true b-ball head. Now that they're here, all of a sudden it's nah. We went from one pick in the 11th and the number 11th pick, and we came out with 3 picks for the sole reason to go trade for your star. So your plan was already laid out. Now that it's time to strike gold, we're still holding out. I don't get it. And it's not about overpaying. And it's not about getting fleeced. It's about now's your time. This is what you waited for.
Right.
All the plans you put into play is now. I don't get it.
The thing is, Jay, is like I agree with you. You need to get the deal done, but at the same time, it's like who you bidding against. You kind of got to wait and see, and they have the best deal. And it's also you kind of look at what's left for the future. Like we added protected picks, but Danny Ainge is looking at he wants at the moment 4 unprotected Knicks picks. That's going 2023, 2025, 2027, 2029. That means you can't trade any Knicks picks to like 2025, 2026. So you're hamstringing yourself for a future move.
I know, but this is what I find.
They're trying to avoid going to 2029.
This is what I find funny, right? A couple of weeks ago, everybody was up in arms, like, nah, we cannot include RJ Barrett in this deal. Now that RJ Barrett doesn't seem like he's in this deal, it shifted to, nah, we can't deplete our bench or we can't deplete our picks. When it's very clear already, we can get our picks back. We can make trades. Every draft we've had, we come out with more equity. We've done it before. We could do it again. I heard the show this morning, and all I just heard was scared talk. It's all scared. They're afraid to make a move. Yeah, and I understand because we've never been to make a move like that. So you would panic the amount of picks you would have to give off. I'm just like, I don't get it. I want to start here. I'm not saying at all costs, but I'm just saying our team is not really destroyed. We have Jaylen Brunson. We will have Donovan Mitchell. We will still have RJ Barrett. We will still have Julius Randle. We will still have Mitch.
Hey, thanks for the membership, Nick G. Nick G, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. I'm with Jay on this, bro. I don't see what the. All right, so here's my thing, right? Because this morning I was told that I was short-sighted and had no vision. Right?
Oh man.
Right? Which is that's all right.
Wow.
Was that your wife or one of us?
And no, a Knicks fan.
Okay. You know what that bothers me when they told you that?
Tells me that.
You know what that bothered me, Freeze, when they told you that? Because the same people who tell you they had no vision are the same people that didn't understand everything that happened at the draft. Because they tell us, be patient, be waiting. After the season, we waited months for the draft to come. And then we left the draft with nothing. No players.
Right.
Because your plan's in place. So don't tell me be patient. I've been patient. I suffered a losing season to go into the draft and you come out with nothing.
Right.
Well, what a good organization does, and it shows signs of stability that you have the right guys making deals, or it shows signs that you have guys making right deals, is they're not rushing into this and overpaying because the fan base want to get this done, because they know what one extra pick or one extra player can cost them some future move down the road that they don't want to make a mistake, and they want to get this right. They don't want to get absolute fleeced. They're going to have to overpay. But they're being smart about this, because right now you're seeing articles coming out. Danny Ainge is making up teams. I believe maybe 1 or 2 of them are involved, but I'm not believing half the teams are these teams like Atlanta and stuff are in it. They're under the assets.
But that's the thing.
So,
that's all
to me, I think it's either trying to play hardball, and the Knicks then after this coming out saying, you know what, here's the trade is bad because it's showing they under pressure.
Joe,
they just got to get the way. Like, that's why other fan bases are patient, because they see what happens. Knicks fans aren't used to a good organization or I'm not going to say good organization. You haven't done anything yet, but at least competent organization. So now they're like, why hasn't the deal been done? Are they going to lose out in the deal? And it's like, no, you have to wait and see what happens till the price gets right, because you don't want to kill yourself down the line. Because that's going to happen. You trade that 2029 pick or 2028 pick, and you're trying to make a move in the next 2-3 years, you don't have that pick, you can be in trouble because you're over.
There's always ways around things. There's always ways around things. Right. You can always make little trades to free up protections and picks later on down the road. It's just everybody's just so short-sighted now when they just see the picks and it's like, oh my God, the picks. We're still gonna have picks every other year, and we're still gonna have picks from other teams. It's not the end of the world. We can still build, but you can't tell me like I want to keep all these guys and hope that, you know what, my pick in 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029 hopefully becomes Donovan Mitchell.
Right, but here's the thing.
For.
See, the thing is, Jay.
Hey, hold on, Joe. Y'all let me. Yo, can
hold up.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. I understand what y'all talking about, but y'all talking about the conversation that has already been. We already parsed that already. Like, I understand what y'all getting at. Joe is talking about the negotiating price, right? And Jay is talking about replenishing assets. Anybody ever considered how stagnant the Knicks are rebuilding the roster since they're in this Donovan Mitchell deal? What move have the Knicks done since this Donovan Mitchell thing has started? How have the Knicks improved their roster since the Donovan Mitchell thing saga started in earnest?
We brought in Brunson. That was it.
No, that was after.
You're not going to really make moves when you have no money and you're trying to hold on to your picks for Mitchell. You kind of make the moves after. So you're not going to just move a pick. Oh, I need this player because Donovan Mitchell might be coming, and you move a pick, and the next thing you can't get the deal because you needed that pick.
Or you say, for instance, with the Knicks, right? You know Derrick Rose is brittle, right? Say you want to keep Derrick Rose. Do you go out and get another veteran point guard? You know what I'm saying? To complement Derrick Rose or supplement Derrick Rose in case Derrick Rose gets hurt. You feel me? So those type of moves can happen without the Donovan Mitchell entanglement, right? But the Knicks haven't done that. You could bring in, you can have a DJ Augustine, Rajon Rondo type player agree to terms, right? And then officially sign him once the Mitchell deal gets done, but the Knicks haven't done that. The Knicks haven't brought in a veteran wing player, somebody to come off the bench, somebody that can fill that role in between R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish. The Knicks haven't done that. All we hear is Donovan Mitchell, and if it plays out to like when Chuck says it does, August 30th, September 1st. September 5th, September 8th, September 10th. Now you're talking about last minute trying to grab bodies going into training camp. Because training camp, when does training camp start? The end of September, right? So training camp is September. The preseason is October. So now you're talking about not even going out and getting veterans until the well runs dry. I get what y'all saying. I get what you're saying. Negotiate. Don't take the first thing you see. And I get that part. And I get the part about the replenishing assets. I think both are fascinating conversations. But what about replenishing your roster?
So, Freezy, where I'm coming from is like people don't realize Danny Ainge probably hasn't come down for his asking price, which was Obi, Quickly, Grimes, 6 picks. And we're here talking about, like, that's what's on the table. The Knicks have made an offer. Danny Ainge is trying to get, so are we okay with giving up that? So that's where I'm coming from is you're depleting everything. 6 picks, Quickly, Obi, Grimes. You're giving up everything.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I never said I disagree with that. I honestly think that's a conversation worth having. Right? But Jay, and I was also going to say, too, as I think Jay is right also, and I think I may have spoken to that point also. I don't want to take credit because I don't remember, but I'll give Jay the credit. Jay is saying, bro, the same people that got these assets in the first place are not going to forget how to acquire assets.
It's the reason we're able to trade these 6 picks now.
Right.
And also, there's only so many roster spots in the NBA. after a while, when these jobs are up, a lot of these vets go overseas. They go play in China, and they won't come back if they have the opt-outs till February. Now you're risking your team not building chemistry. You're risking your team not having the right assets, like to even improve in case anything happens, or being a better team with these guys. Like let's just say Donovan Mitchell's friend, Eric Pascal. If there's no job for him, guess where he's going to go? Overseas. But he can fill a valuable role with us now if we get this deal done now. The longer we wait, these jobs dry up. So now we're going to go into the season playing G League guys if you want to wait till the last minute to pull a deal because you're looking last minute to find players.
Playing catch up. Okay. Hey, Sarge, you there? Okay. So Chuck, what are you thinking?
I want to touch on a point that you brought up earlier about the draft and how through the most recent memory of the Knicks haven't done well in the draft, right? You can say it wasn't this regime or that regime, but it's all boils down to them not
the Knicks
being able to pick guys at one of those picks and thinking something is going to be different. I'm not. Yo, for bench players, for a starter, man, you got to make that move, in my opinion. But I do feel, or at least understand, that some of the fan base feel like some of the guys that we're moving will be all stars or stars in some capacity. So I get the hesitation, but go ahead and make the move. Get these guys in, and then you can fill out your roster the way you see fit now that you have your main guys on the roster. Because you don't want to do that going into next season at the last minute, grabbing a bunch of no names or guys that don't necessarily fit what you're trying to do, but they're bodies that you can afford. So yeah.
Okay.
And another thing, if we're confident in the group we have now, because everybody loves the players that we have, like Freezy said, and I mentioned also, it's not that hard for them to find the same exact players they found year in, year out. So get the star in here first, and they can go out, do the same homework they've done, find the same type of players that's going to fit the same type of system that they're running. I'm not going to sit here and cry. It's all scared talk, man. It's scared talk about, my bench is depleted. Having Donovan Mitchell here is not mean we're going to win the championship year one. You build towards it. The kid is 25. Barrett is 22. Brunson is 25. Mitchell's 24, 23. Hartenstein's 24. Julius is about to be 28. That's still in his prime. What are we doing? I'm frustrated, bro.
Yeah, I'm frustrated too, in the fact that I think sometimes the asset management argument is used for and against the fans in the same breath. Right? The asset management argument is, well, you can't give up all the assets, man. You got to negotiate, right? And then at the same time, we don't speak to how we can replenish these assets also after the deal is done, right? Say for instance, a contract like Derrick Rose could be a valuable one to a championship contender. I think you can turn Derrick Rose into a late first round pick by trading him to a playoff team who is in trying to make a major move. You can turn him into not only an asset or multiple assets, right? You can legit do. I would look at using Derrick Rose in a side and trade to get Colin Sexton. Mm-hmm. Anybody in here like Colin Sexton?
Oh man, I love Colin Sexton.
I would legit I would legit offer that man about 18 mil a year, right? Use the trade exception that we have of $6 million. So it'd be like 14 plus 6 and whatever. And so to make the money match and bring in Colin Sexton. But you can't do that if you're solely focused on a Donovan Mitchell deal. And I think that's where the team is handcuffing them. We're handcuffing ourselves.
Right. Yep. I completely agree.
Anybody in here agree, or am I on like Weirdo Island? Am I on Weirdo Island? Am I the only person? Joe, you like? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm right there with you. Freezer. I've been thinking exactly the same thing on multiple levels. I know we've got 2 months to really start to think about offensive plans and defensive schemes, etc. But even on that level, to give our coach enough time to prep and look at what his team's going to be like is one dimension. But the other dimension is missing out on these potential free agents that are hanging out there, or unrestricted guys where they can make moves. So yes, I'm concerned about that. So I think to that degree, we should make it happen faster. And the longer it goes on, the more it impacts us as far as our next season plans are concerned.
Right. Hey, Joe, do you like Colin Sexton? Am I on the Island of Misfit Toys here?
No, I like Colin Sexton. I was just actually talking to my buddy this morning after all these rumors come out at work, and he was like, don't be surprised now if the Knicks try and do leverage and you hear, the Knicks are showing interest in Colin Sexton sign and trade. Just to show you, we might go down another road as a leverage thing. But I wouldn't be minding with Colin Sexton, and I kind of feel bad for him. Like, he's a good 20-point scorer. He gets hurt. And then Cleveland going lowball him like that, giving him offering him 11 a year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But the thing is I feel like you could just get him in a sign and trade for Derrick Rose's money. Right? Well, is there a harm in having Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, and Colin Sexton? Is something wrong with that?
That's a bunch of small guards up.
And if you keep Quickly too.
Yeah, Quickly, yeah.
You be able to put up buckets though. Bench and starters. Oof. But where are you getting all minutes to 20 minutes each to keep you're gonna obviously start Mitchell to get most of the minutes, but the other three, where are you getting their minutes?
Well, here's the thing. If Fournier goes, right, that's what, 28 minutes? And if Rose goes, that's what, 22 minutes? That's 50 minutes between Spider Mitchell and Colin Sexton. And you're not, and mind you, one of those guards or two of those guards off the bench are gone in this Spider Mitchell deal, right? Which one is it? Is it Quickly? If it's Quickly, then 21 minutes are gone. If it's Grimes, then 17 minutes are gone. That means you have 31 minutes to give to Colin Sexton.
Colin Sexton balls out. There's a couple of firsts back.
Right.
A first or two back that you gave up then for Spider.
Right. And then think about what you gave up. All you gave up was Derrick Rose.
Well, a second round and Dennis Smith Jr.
Here's another way you can replenish your bench, right? There's a lot of teams that draft lotto guys that sometimes don't live up to the billing of being a lotto pick, and they don't pick up that fifth year. So they go to teams to boost up their value, and that's something the Lakers have been doing for the past 2 years. Malik Monk went there, played a good year, cashed out, and went to Sacramento. Now, Lonnie Walker this year didn't get his option picked up by the Spurs, and Shans, before free agency started, said, this guy's going to get a lucrative long-term deal for being a young, rising player. And what did he do? Signed a 1-year deal with the Lakers, hoping to play good, have the eyes look at him again. GM's be like, oh, this kid is good. Cash out again. If the Knicks do that, they have the option to either re-sign them or, again, just let them walk. But the whole point is that you're able to always find talent to put on your bench. Same way the Lakers did it with Kendrick Nunn. It's not impossible to get talented players. The longer we wait, those players dry up, and there's
Those
no
players
more.
dry up, right?
So going into next year, you could have so many different strategies. Buyout market mid-season. All these vets want to attach yourself to a team that's going to go to the playoffs. We don't know which vets are going to get bought out this year and be like, oh, yeah, let me go play with the Knicks. Let me get some eyes on me. So going into free agency. There's so many different ways we can replenish the damn bench. For you to use an excuse that you don't want to destroy your bench for an all-star, like I can't get it. I don't get
Yeah,
the
that's
whole bench
ridiculous.
thing, man.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What I was thinking about something interesting too. When people brought up the Westbrook trade, and I heard someone, I think it was you, Freezy, you said you would keep him, right? If they made that deal, if they made that Westbrook trade, was it Fournier or Rondo or whatever, you would keep Westbrook.
Yes, sir.
Well,
But let me put it in context. Let me put it in context though. I'm not keeping Westbrook as a long-term piece, though.
Oh no.
I just wouldn't waive him once he got here. I'd trade that expiring contract to a team that needs $50 million in cap space this summer. Right? Like say, for instance, I'll go to Atlanta and say, hey man, y'all need cap space? Y'all want to re-sign DeJounte Murray, right? Give us something, and we'll give you not Derrick Rose, but we'll give you Russell Westbrook. Give us something and a couple of draft picks, and you can have Russell Westbrook. And this summer, you can go out and sign DeJounte Murray long term, right? Like I'll give you an example.
That could happen.
I can pull up Spot Track. I'll pull up Spot Track, right? Pull up Spot Track so that I can look at contracts. So the viewers out there will get a better understanding of what I'm talking about.
I was gonna say, if someone else traded for Westbrook, like Indiana or the Jazz or some of these other teams wanting picks, we buy him out, or we get him off of waivers, or get him off free agency after he gets bought out.
Okay.
There's your backup point if you lose a Rose and you lose quickly.
So what player was that again? I'm sorry. What player was it again? You said
Westbrook.
Okay. All right. So here's an example of what I would look to do, right? All right. Trade for Westbrook, right? Get draft picks, because we gotta, in order for us to take on Westbrook contract, they gotta give us some draft picks, bro. I'm sorry. Because ultimately we'll be giving them Julius Randle and whatever veterans are not left over are left over from the Donovan Mitchell deal. So if Derrick Rose goes, and that Fournier, it'll be Julius and Fournier, right? Julius and Fournier, that's what, $37 million. So you're talking about, bro, this thing starts to get complicated, man. The more I think about it, the more it gets complicated. I don't know if you can explore the Westbrook deal. Because the money will have to match, and not only that, at the end of the day, you still have to meet 90% of the salary cap. So we still have to have
Fournier 42 mil.
Huh?
Isn't you said Fournier 41 mil?
No. Is it?
What?
41 mil. Yeah, 41 mil. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You're right.
So we still have about what?
About 6 million. So it's nobody. They'll just throw somebody in there, just a body.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In there just to make the money match for Westbrook, right?
Right.
And you'll expect to get a draft pick in return for you giving them Julius, Fournier, and a young player, whatever young player that is. It'll probably be whatever young player is left over from the Spider deal. Just a body. It's just something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if the Lakers take it without that, they'll get the trade exception the other way, right? And then, so you're talking about flipping that to, say, Charlotte, flipping Westbrook to Charlotte for a couple of bad contracts, like Gordon Hayward, and I don't know if Kelly Oubre is a bad contract, but it definitely fits the conversation. So Gordon Hayward has 2 more years left on that dog of a deal, but I don't think Kelly Oubre is a bad contract. Right? So you get Kelly Oubre, you get Hayward, and Charlotte have to get. If it were me, Charlotte would have to give me at least one unprotected first in some random year, or 2 to 3 heavily protected first round picks, and that's how you replenish from the Donovan Mitchell deal. And that's in one, and you did that in one season.
With 47 million you didn't play.
Yeah. And Obi Toppin gets to play.
With Mitchell and without Mitchell, would you change your offensive scheme based on what that smash pick and will be established as, no matter which scenario we have?
No, I'm not changing. No, I'm not changing anything offensively. My personal opinion, based on basketball experiences, the Knicks run a perfect offense and a perfect defense for today's NBA. Tibbs just didn't have the players to run it. Our players were trash. That's my opinion. I think the pick and roll offense is the one that you want to run nowadays, because everybody in the NBA just about can shoot the three. Everybody just about now can pass. Right? No, the days of you trapping in the half court are over, because on the weak side you could put your big clunky power forward in a corner and he can knock down 3-pointers. It's not like when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird was playing, where if you put AC Green in that corner back there, then AC Green couldn't shoot. Nowadays your big clunky power forward are guys like Davis Bertans. Right? So now you put a power forward over in that corner, bro, and he's going to make a living off of that.
That's all Bertans can do. Can't play defense, can't get to the rim.
Right.
If he hit shots, he's useless.
Right. But he can do that though, right? That's what I mean. And listen, I respect Davis Bertans for at least having an NBA skill. Right? Some dudes in the NBA right now, bro, when you ask what can they do, you like, yeah, what's Obi Toppin good at? People are like, he brings energy. Bro, 475 NBA players a night bring energy, bro. What's the one thing that he does that stands out? And it can't be he dunks on a fast break, because about half of those 470 guys that I mentioned can also dunk on a fast break if they wide open. And I'm not knocking Obi. This is not my trash Obi Toppin take. This is what definitive skill thing, right? So Joe, that's what I was thinking. It's like, because when I heard your point, it wasn't that I'm bashing this point, but like you're saying, like the negotiating aspect of it. I'm thinking, like, what are we doing to improve the team while we wait on this Donovan Mitchell thing?
See, that's the thing, is you can't really do too much if you're waiting on the deal, because you also need to think is, all right, what players are going to fit with him? And also you got to think money aspects, picks, because you're looking, free agency is dead. You might get a couple of guys, and I do think when it comes to building the rest of the team, they might wait out for the September date or whenever it is, or August, and try and get 1 or 2 extra players in this. And if they have to throw an extra pick in that, they'll do it.
Things gotta happen soon though, because there's two things that's happening. One, it looks like talks are picking up of Kevin Durant and Boston. And 2, I think LeBron James' first eligible date to sign his extension is August 8th. So if the Lakers don't make a move by then, LeBron James is going to hold them to the fire and improving that team. So something has to happen with Westbrook before then. So if you're trying to do a 3-team trade with the Knicks like the Jazz and all this stuff. It has to get figured out soon. This can't get lingered on no more.
Oh, if LeBron is leaving, I would love them Lakers picks. Them Lakers picks, especially in 2027, an unprotected Laker pick. Anthony Davis will be a little bit older. That thing's going to be gold.
Yes. Yep. Are there any moves you would make that is the same regardless of whether we get Mitchell or not? Like, would you get Sexton with Mitchell or without Mitchell? So, is it possible to make moves now? Because we have 2 slots to fill, right? 2 roster spots to fill. Are there any moves you would make now and go, you know what? Where do we get Sexton?
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know for certain. We think we have 2. It may be 2+. Right?
But right now we have at least 2 right now, yes?
I think that's true. Hey, Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says, I'm so glad 80% of the fans are satisfied with the roster on shows. The 20% who think low of our players will just suffer now. Leon love his roster.
Like I said, you guys can love the roster, all right? I'm not here for a nice bedtime story for somebody to tuck me in and I feel good at night to say, oh, my babies are still here. I'm watching the kids grow. No, bump that. I want to see the Knicks win a championship. I'm here to witness it. I don't care for the nice bedtime stories. So all y'all that want to keep the damn kids for the sole reason of keeping your kids and for hope, miss me with that.
Hey, man. Hey, so, Joe, when did this come up? When did this start being about the Knicks front office and not about the fans? Did I miss something?
What do you mean?
When did the team, this Knicks team, started becoming more about the team president and not about the fans?
Well, I think to me, it's like, yeah, the fan base is important. They need to be happy. But to me right now, the most important man in that organization is the team president right now because he's pulling these deals to make this team better. So the conversation, he's the man in charge of whatever trades are going to go down, pulling the strings. If it's not him, it's Brock Eiler or Scott Perry. There's 3 or 4 of them in there. So somebody's making the deals. It's them. So to me, it should be about the front office. Because if the fan base was pulling strings of organizations, everything it'd be chaos.
I ain't even gonna lie to you. I just, man, just off that super chat, it just made me think, man, are we really rooting for the front office now? Is that what? Am I missing it? I think I'm having an epiphany, and I'm dumbfounded at the same time. Somebody help me think through this, because I understand what you're saying, Joe. Because you're saying that we want to hope that they're doing the right moves and have faith in them doing the right moves, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. A lot of the fan base doesn't have faith in them because of past moves. So they're used to a rush. So they're like, why isn't this trade done? Why don't we have them? And they're nervous nothing's going to get done. But realize it's like, oh, we have at least a competent front office at least negotiating. That they're not going to say, yeah, we want Donovan Mitchell. Okay, there's the price. Okay. They're going to be like, we're going to do it at our terms and the price comes down. And they're smart. They know they're bidding against themselves. And Danny Ainge is trying to get leverage. He has leverage. He has the player, but he's trying to get more leverage because he's trying to get more out of the Knicks. So it means our front office is aware. Right. Other front offices would have been like, oh, God, they're going to trade him to someone else, and they'd make the move. And then 3 years later, the move is like a disaster, and you're stuck with it. Because we've seen it before. So it's kind of like Knicks fans are like, we've lost out on players. We've made mistakes in trades about bringing players in. Now we need to relax. I mean, like, all right, this front office has shown that they're not dumb. They've known this was coming. Now they're negotiating it at their terms. They're the ones that loaded up on these picks. They're the ones that had this cap flexibility in place. Like free agency, they've made a couple of mistakes with some of these deals, but they were able to get off of them without moving first.
Right.
And then they were aware that they made these mistakes and they cleaned it up very fast.
Right.
So I have trust in the front office. Now, in a couple of months, if Donovan Mitchell's traded for something else or somewhere else for a trade that a fact that we could have beaten, then I'm going to be mad. Then I'm going to be pissed off and be like, all right, what are these guys doing? Because as of right now, I've trusted them because they're negotiating to a right price. They're not trying to get fleeced and get killed down the line.
Now, you mentioned a couple months from now. Let's say, what do you say a couple months? Like December, February? What do you mean a couple months from now?
A couple of months from now.
Yeah.
Like September?
Yeah, like September.
No, because September's not even I mean January trade deadline, January, February next year.
Okay. So that would
Donovan Mitchell's on another team. Believe me, if Donovan Mitchell's on another team, even in a week, though, I'd be surprised. But it all depends on the deal. Because if you go and see some team out of the blue went and give up like 7 first-round picks and 2 young players to Utah, then he'd be like, all right, I'm glad they didn't do the deal.
Right.
Well, but I clarifying your time frame because with a time frame of January, February, it's conditional. What if January, February, we are in 3rd place, 2nd place in the Eastern Conference with a team as is? Would you still be mad we didn't get Mitchell?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because Knicks fans would be like, oh, we'd be winning a title if we had Mitchell. They'd always be looking, oh, we'd be better.
Right.
Or even better, if the Knicks go into the season and have a really bad year, are you going to trade your 2023 pick if you know you're going to be in the lotto?
Right.
Nope.
Right. So Paradox, thank you for the generous contribution. Paradox says, bump that. No, eat that. Our guys are talents. Okay.
No one's ever going to disagree that our guys are talents. But the one fact that everybody keeps missing when it comes to the young players, that in the NBA, elite talent wins you chips. That's it. Point blank, period. None of the guys we have right now is elite talent. If we can keep some of them and put them with the elite talent, yes, now we're going places. No one's ever going to disagree that Obi, Quickly, Grimes, all of them have NBA talent. But if we want to be serious and we're not scared and we want to win the chip, things need to be made. Moves needs to be done.
But I'm saying if we're 30-15 going to the All-Star break before the trade deadline, and we're 30-15, and that means which would mean that RJ, probably Cam, obviously Brunson will be doing his thing, Randall, these guys will have taken the next step because 30 wins,
Sarge, Sarge, are those guys that you're mentioning are not in the Donovan Mitchell deal, right?
Correct. That is true.
So why wouldn't we just get Donovan Mitchell and add them to the guys that got us to 30 wins in the first place?
Because the lineup would be different with Donovan in there. Because the lineup with Donovan maybe Brunson, RJ, Cam. Cam may be in the deal, but RJ will be playing at the 2. So the possibility of us, really stepping up.
No, he wouldn't because Fournier would still be here.
No, that's one of my fears. But one of my hope is that Cam and RJ will play so well that even Tibbs may be like, oh, how do I have those guys come off the bench? And it may change the dynamic. Or let's just be really, I don't want to be negative, but let's say Fournier gets hurt and he doesn't put Grimes in right away. He does play RJ the 2. I'm just saying that lineup may be so dynamic that you're like, if even with Mitchell in there, it may throw the chemistry off. And so my concern is if we excel and those guys are playing all-star level, then we do have our star in either RJ or Cam, who maybe even Randall. I don't want to say that name, but we have our star, and now we're looking for the next star because 1 or 2 of those guys have broken through to a point where we're like, wow, Mitchell will be much better than everybody here still. However, man, if we got a team like that performing at that level, it'll be tough to throw anything else in there to cause this chemistry mix and disrupt that kind of flow. I'm just throwing it out there as an idea. Where I wouldn't necessarily regret that getting Mitchell. I'm a Mitchell homie. I'm a Mitchell high. I was fan no matter where he plays. If he goes to play for the Celtics or Miami, I'm gonna cheer for him. But if we're winning like that, where we're competing for second or third place in the Eastern Conference with a 30 win after 45 game type season, it's tough to go, I wish we could have had Mitchell in here to make this better or disrupt it and potentially make it worse. That's just what I'm throwing out there as a possibility. To not blanket go, Mitchell got traded and we're up on a 600 record plus, and we're mad because we didn't have him too, because it could have been the Yankees,
If we're like second in the East because these bums overperformed, yeah, I'm still trading for Donovan Mitchell because at the end of the day, I know what Donovan Mitchell is. I'm not banking on bum Randall getting in shape and actually overperforming and these pieces overperforming, and then next year fall flat back on our butt again. Nah, I'm moving when these assets are hot. Actually, it's better moving them because you give up less picks.
Right. Hey, so let me do this real quick. Paris Douglas, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Douglas said, Dolan saw Obi and quickly earned standing ovations. So
what does that mean?
I know. What does that mean?
Dolan saw
Icewater NYC, thank you for the generous contribution. Icewater NYC says, just reading something about interest in Rust. Super bad move. Yeah, I think it's Russ's contract, not Russell's play. It's what me and Joe Madden talked about, isn't that right, Joe?
Yeah, I don't mind Russell. It's the contract. The $47.5 million what scared the hell out of me. It's not the player. I think he could still be a good six-man or he's a starting guard somewhere. There's people are afraid of the money in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and Dolan saw what competent basketball players in the Garden will do for him. So he's only salivating what Donovan Mitchell will mean for MSG. You're right, Parrish.
Yeah, and so what I would offer is this: if the rumor mill is being used as a weapon, why not use the rumor mill as a weapon? Why not go after Jaylen Brown since you know he's available? Why not offer Jaylen Brown why not offer Boston the Godfather package for Jaylen Brown instead of Donovan Mitchell?
Because I know probably you could get both. You could get Spider now or soon, and Jaylen Brown, if he doesn't get moved or gets put, if he does get moved, then he's put where not he's wanted. He's a free agent 2024.
Right.
You will go and grab him, so you could come out with both.
Yeah, Joe, it's like what
he ain't happy. So if he don't get moved, he might be saying in 2024, I'm out of there because he's not going to re-sign. They've been trying to trade him for 3 years now, and after what he done with them last year.
Hey, Joe, it's the rumor mill, like Freezy said. You put that out there. Now you putting the pressure on Ainge to stop playing around and come take this deal.
And come take the deal. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Why do
you're going to play yourself. We're going to end up with Jaylen Brown, and you're going to still be stuck not getting Victor, and you still got Donovan on your team. So you played yourself. Right. You want to use the media, you can do the same thing.
And then guess what happens? Guess what happens when you talk to Boston and they are interested in that Godfather deal? All those picks, those 6 or 7, those 4, 5, 6, 7 picks for Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown is a big athletic guard playing the 3 in Boston when I think he wants to play the 2. Right? And then also he'll be a free agent and you can offer him the bag. And Boston could take guys that fit exactly what they are looking for, young guys to replenish their bench, and some borderline starters is exactly what they're looking for. Guys like Grimes who can defend on the perimeter. You don't think Grimes can help a Eastern Conference finalist in the playoffs with his 3-point shooting and defense? A guy like Quickly. Right. And we wouldn't even have to take those guys that they have, like Derek White and all those guys. So let me do Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says Brunson killed, no rings, Donovan, 4 games without Luka. And Icewater NYC says Boston is not as in love with picks as Utah is. Right. But you don't know that for sure, Icewater. They just hadn't shown publicly that they're in love with draft picks. Right?
See, the thing is they're in title contention, but you never know with Boston. They might say, "Oh, give me them picks," and they might use them picks in a big deal to get somebody else or
to get KD.
Yeah, I think the Nets would want Jaylen. They wouldn't want the picks. They would like, yeah, just give me Jaylen and the picks.
Hey, Freezy, let me read something to you real quick. Check this out. Bet MGM just put out this tweet. Utah Jazz star Donovan Mitchell had conversations in recent days. He said, "I would like to play for the Knicks, I'm told." Additionally, in conversation about the Knicks, per a reliable source, Mitchell stated, "They passed up on me years ago. I wanted to play for them then." How do you think he feels now that we still haven't made this deal for him?
Is that wait a minute? Where did the article stop?
Well, it's an interview they did. Go to
no, I know it's an interview. I know it's an interview.
Yeah.
Where did the interview stop at, and where is it where you started?
I'm just reading a paraphrase from the interview.
No, I know what you read. I know what you reading. I'm trying to ask. Like, you opened the quote. You was like, "Yo, Donovan Mitchell said such and such."
It started. He said, "I would like to play for the Knicks, I'm told." That's not Donovan Mitchell saying it. That's the reporter. But the other part says that Donovan said, "They passed up on me years ago. I wanted to play for them then."
Okay, so that's where it ends. Okay, because you kept talking afterwards. I didn't know what was you and what was Donovan Mitchell. Like, okay, so you said Donovan Mitchell said then he wanted to play for the Knicks.
So yeah, he's well aware that he wanted to play for us. And then if we keep playing ourselves, not getting him here, how do you think he's gonna feel eventually? He'd be like, "All right, whatever, I'll go to Miami or I'll go to this other team."
I think that's because he knows that was Phil Jackson that passed on him. That was the Frank draft. So it was Leon. It wasn't this regime. There's been another regime between these two regimes since. And also the trade, Donovan knows what a trade. Does he think like the Knicks are going to deplete the whole roster to bring him in here and have nobody to play with? He wants to win too. He wants to come here, and the big market, but he wants to win games too. So he knows this is a business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to put pressure. "Oh, I don't want to go to the Knicks because they didn't trade the house for me." You can't think like that's not the way. Like
stars want to feel wanted. That's all their egos. They want to feel wanted.
And he can rush the process, Jay, by saying, "Hey, give me to New York."
Yeah, he can ask.
He can't feel.
Freeze. Can you check the tweet that I posted in the private chat? It's related to Jaylen Brown and how Boston can't actually pay him what he's worth because he took less than a max, which is some weird, convoluted CBA related issue where he's probably going to be traded. Like
percentages. Yeah, DeJounte Murray and him took less money, so their max out on that club is a certain amount of money. So they have to become an unrestricted free agent, and Boston has to do it on a separate deal. They can offer an extension because percentages, it only goes up like, I don't know, what's the percentages, Freezy? I don't even know, but it goes up a certain percentage every year.
I don't know the percentage, but another team can offer him $60 more million.
It's like the Zach LaVine issue. Zach LaVine would have made more money waiting till the summertime.
I posted it in the private chat if you wanted to read it, you guys.
Yeah. I see it. Now I'm gonna put it on the screen.
But remember who did that, Freezy? Going back to what you mentioned about using the rumor mill, when KP played himself and Phil was negotiating a trade for KP, I remember first it was Booker from Phoenix with picks, but then Danny Ainge came out also and said, "I will give up the number 3 pick, and I can get another top 7 pick," which would have ended up being Lauri Markkanen. So it would have been Tatum and Markkanen for KP. But then he said, "Oh, I don't think Knicks are really going to do it. But if they did, this is what I would offer."
Right.
So it's not like we can't use the rumor mill to our benefit also.
And so here I'm gonna read the important part to it. And thank you for that too, Dre. I appreciate that, man. So a Brown extension now is 120 million less than he would have earned with the Celtics when he becomes a free agent, and 60 million less than if he signed with another team. The extension route also eliminates Brown from becoming a supermax eligible in the next few seasons. If Brown was named All-NBA in the next couple of years, he would become eligible to sign a 5-year, $273 million contract with the Celtics. When his role on the roster was undefined in 2019, choosing guaranteed money was a smart play, but that is no longer the case. Brown has put together 3 straight 20-plus points per game season, is an all-star and franchise cornerstone. He has refined his game offensively, relying less on scoring from the perimeter, but more in the restricted area. Brown has shot 72% in the restricted area this season, the best in his career. He is the only guard during that season who attempted at least 200 shots in the restricted area and shot over 70% per ESPN Stats and Info. His 72% from the restricted area is also the best by any guard in a season over the last 10 seasons. Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says Donovan, Randall, and Clink RJ is in lottery pick for Utah. Okay.
Well, tell Jaylen, I think the New York Knicks would have the money in maybe in 2024 if they can get off of some Julius Randle to give him that bag, because I would welcome some Jaylen Brown here.
Would you do it instead of Spider?
No, I'd be getting Spider now, and I'd be getting Jaylen Brown 2024 free agency, and I have a 3 of Spider, RJ, Brown. Or I trade for him next year when it's cheaper because he's going to be expiring, and he tells Boston he's not re-signing, so you get him a lot cheaper.
Right.
I'm not giving up that package for him now because I don't even think they'll do it, because I think they're trying to compete. So I think they'll try and do a deal if they're going to try and move him for a KD. If it's not for KD, I don't think they're going to move him. But I think he's probably getting a little bit salty now that this is kind of like 3 of the last 4 years he's been mentioning trade talks. So
yeah, and think about that weird offer that Brooklyn offered. KD for Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a first.
that's what Boston offered, and then I think Brooklyn come back and was like Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and 2 firsts.
Hey man, Leon Rose, why is this deal not done? Do y'all see what's being offered on this front? Yeah.
What'd you say, Freezy?
I don't know why this. Looking at this, I don't know why this deal is not done.
Both parties aren't happy with the deal.
The Spider deal.
Both parties aren't happy with the deal. I think the Knicks are not happy with what the Jazz wants them to give up. I think that's what it is. The Jazz is asking for too much from the Knicks, and the Knicks are telling them like you're asking for too much. And I think the Gobert messed up the whole market for the whole NBA. So now they're expecting something where they know they shouldn't have got that much, and the Knicks are not going to fall for it. If we get Brown and Mitchell, that means RJ's gone, right?
What?
I mean, if RJ's gone and we have Brunson and Donovan here, I mean, hey, I feel like that and a couple other pieces, if Julius or somebody else is here, I think.
No, Paul Sorvino died today. Y'all know who Paul Sorvino is?
Yeah, from the Goodfellas.
Yeah, dang it, man. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's what I get for reading stuff on Twitter. Thank you, Dre. If I never would have went to Twitter, I would never have known.
Oh man.
Just best round. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Now, Freeze's question was, who do you rather, Mitchell or Brown? And the answer was both. But if you get both, it means you gotta give up RJ somehow because RJ can't fit into that on that team with both of those guys.
Boom.
That's such a tough question because it's like, would you rather have Donovan Mitchell with RJ and hope that RJ can reach Brown's ceiling, which he could, or just skip some steps and have Mitchell with Jaylen Brown?
I think we're in a spooky situation, bro. Yeah, Chuck.
I was
I
gonna
think
say Brunson.
we gotta go for Brown with it, at least rumor mill wise. But I think legitimately, I think I'd make up for Brown. I really would. I think I love Mitchell, but man, Brown at that 2 spot. Oh man, that would be crazy.
I'm gonna say this for all the Donovan Mitchell doubters, right? Donovan Mitchell went to Utah, and they were a 41-win team out in the tough West. The first year with Donovan Mitchell on that team, they won 50 games and haven't looked back since. Yes, they haven't had the success that we would like for them to have in the playoffs. But us as Knicks fans, we would love for our team to be anything similar to the success the Utah Jazz have had in the past couple of years. And that was him as a rookie. They won 50 games, always a top team in the West, where it's very competitive.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
So I think that we'll be competitive with Brunson, Spider, and Brown for sure.
Yeah.
If there's a way to make that deal go through, then you do that. Nobody's untouchable if you can get all both of those guys.
So we about getting about both of them this off season.
How dare you, Chuck? I want to see Emmanuel quickly and Obi play at the Garden. How dare you, Chuck?
You can go see them whenever they come to the Garden. Whenever their team comes to the Garden, y'all can go watch them.
Yeah, Utah comes once a year.
Nah, it's all your fault. I got to go trade for them in NBA 2K and put Knicks jerseys on them all over again. Damn it, Chuck.
All over again, bro.
Yeah, well, I'll buy you tickets to Utah to watch at least a couple home games, okay?
Yo, you'd be surprised. There are probably people who don't want that kind of trade or don't want that kind of team. You'd be surprised.
Yo, LJ is in the building. LJ, what's good, my man?
What's up, Uncle Freezy? How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Man, where you been, bro? We've been looking for you.
Hey, man, sometimes you just gotta sit in the background and listen. You got 2 ears and 2 eyes for a reason and 1 mouth. Sometimes you just gotta listen before you talk.
Yeah. How you doing, bro?
How you brothers doing, man? I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
Good.
I like that Jaylen Brown idea, though. I'd take Jaylen Brown 100 days out of 100 days over Spider.
Bruh. I'm just saying.
I sure would.
And a lower price. Much lower price.
To me, man, the game, the way the game is being played nowadays is all 6'7", 6'8", long arm wing players. Jaylen Brown plays D. He can handle the ball a little bit. It gives us a little bit more offensive flexibility, at least in my opinion, than Donovan does. We know Donovan. We know he could do the ISO. We know he could do the top of the key pick and roll. Sometimes you need that 6'8" guard to bully a little 6'3", 6'4" guard down in that paint. Sometimes that's what you need to get a quick two.
Right. Hey, y'all, I'm going to disappear. Brian Windhorst posted something about an hour ago. I'm going to check it out real quick. I'm going to just go off the screen. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that sounds good too, man. Only because I'm a homie with Donovan Mitchell being a New Yorker and the love he would have, the love he'd bring, but Brown is nice, man. I'm sorry, it'll be hard for me to turn down a Brown offer for less assets to get Brown than it is to accept Mitchell, even though I love Mitchell.
I don't know if it will be less. I think their value is almost identical.
Well, I mean the current asking price. Right now, you could probably get Brown.
Yeah, but like the Celtics are wanting to compete, and Brad Stevens is basically Danny Ainge Part 2. So it's like they want to compete right now, and they just came off of finals appearances. So I don't think picks are exactly what they want unless they're going to get picks and then use it to get a superstar, which is why they're in on KD because they want superstar talent right now to compete right now. They're not trying to go backwards. They're trying to go right back to the finals and win.
All right, well, I'm saying right now 6 picks. Fournier, Obi, IQ, etc., all that stuff. Even salary match wise, it's a smaller package to match salaries for Brown. Because he's $4 million less than is he $4 million less than Mitchell is right now?
I think so. I think he makes 25 million or something around there.
Right. So if that's one less asset to match salary, as far as whatever young ones. So on that alone, it's a lower.
I don't believe Boston is truly considering trading him unless it's for KD alone.
No, that's true. No, I believe that. Yeah. I don't think they even entertain it if it wasn't because it's KD. And you see, because it's KD, they still offered him, all right, I give you Jaylen, I give you our number 1 person on the bench and a pick. Other than that, you can keep it moving. We just came from the finals. We good.
And even then, like they're still thinking about it because KD is KD. So
right,
it's kind of backhanded what they're doing to Jaylen because he was literally the only consistent player in the finals for them, outside of like maybe the last game.
And I heard some of the conversation about Russell and all of that. I think for me the grand plan would be get Donovan in New York now. Then you take on that Westbrook contract just to get that Westbrook contract off the books at the end of the year. That's $47 million that opens up at the end of the year. And then you go hard to Jaylen Brown. Now you got Brunson, RJ, Spider, Jaylen, Randall, Mitchell. Like it's on at that point.
But like to make that money make sense, you can't take on all of that because we're gonna have to pay RJ because after this year, RJ is gonna go up from his $8 million this year up to maybe 21 million on top of that. And you can't. And Jaylen's making 25, and Brunson is making 25, and Donovan's making 30, and Randall is making almost 25. It's literally
Randall will be gone.
Deal though. They sent Randall. They sent in Randall in the deal.
Okay.
I don't know how you get Jaylen Brown without giving up RJ.
But you said Randall in the next year. I'm like, huh?
Well, all right, my bad. Yeah, that was me.
You're making the Russell deal, but Randall's not here. Yeah, that's why.
But nah, they send in Randall in that deal, and they get Westbrook and a number 1. Yeah. To take that money off of LA's hands, they were supposed to bring back a number 1 along with Westbrook and send in Randall.
Right.
It better be Randall and Fournier.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
And then you go into next season with just RJ's cap hold, Brunson's salary, and Mitchell's salary, and then I think you can sneak Mitchell Robinson's salary also.
If this were to happen, it would have to be a 3-team deal because Fournier would have to be included for the money for Donovan.
And so the money doesn't open up until 2024. The way the cap works, that we extend RJ, that we'd only get Randall's 23 million cap space, and that'll be 2024.
Now hold on. One of
money next year.
One of Fournier or Derrick Rose got to go in the Mitchell deal, right? One of those two. So one of the other of Fournier and Rose goes with Randall for the Westbrook deal. So that clears up that whole space.
And then you got a whole max ready for let's say Jaylen Brown.
And then you extend RJ after you sign Jaylen Brown.
To go over the cap.
Yes.
To go over the cap. And I'm willing to go over the cap with that 5. Brunson,
Absolutely.
Mitchell, JR, even if they put Obi in the starting 5, Jaylen Brown and Mitch Robinson.
I'm gonna keep it a buck though. One of those guards got to go because you can't have Mitchell, Brunson, RJ, and Jaylen. That's like 4 guards.
Well, I think that
Like,
they'd bring Brown in
NBA
2024 as a free agent, and they let Brunson go, or they trade Brunson at that point, put Donovan at point, and then RJ and Jaylen Brown is your team.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen because you can't.
For me to do that, I got to see.
That's a problem. That's a good 3. RJ in his prime, and RJ at 24, Brown and Spider at 27 years old. Like that's.
I would really have to see RJ take off as a secondary playmaker, like really take off, because Brunson and Mitchell kind of takes care of that for you if we get Donovan, right? Because now you have 2 guys that can really handle the ball and control the offense. So if you're moving on from Brunson, you got to make sure that RJ is that dude, because Jaylen Brown is really just a great scorer. I don't see him being that kind of playmaker like that.
He's more of a creator for himself. On that Celtics team, Tatum took on more of the facilitating role as the big wing facilitating, but he had a lot of turnovers. Both of them did, particularly Jaylen in traffic.
And the one thing that I be thinking about when I think about the players is how effectively do they move without the ball? We don't want just a high pick and roll and ISO and people just standing around on the wings waiting for them to take the ball to the basket. Jaylen Brown moves great without the ball. RJ moves good without the ball. Like, when you see the offenses today, like, look at Boston and Golden State. Everybody's always moving. Back cuts, back picks. Everybody's always moving.
Time out. First of all, salute everybody.
Salute.
What's this trade package we talking about for Jaylen Brown? What do we have that Boston wants? I'm confused.
Hey, so the thing is King and G, it's not a trade package.
It's not. We waiting it out.
Right. It's not a trade package.
2024 free agency.
Right. And so the deal is
it's based off of the trade, like Freeze was saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this. The reason why I mentioned it in the first place is the scientific method, and I know you guys saw this in science books as far back as 9th grade. It's a scientific method called 2 can play that game. So some of y'all didn't get the joke. Okay. Some of y'all didn't get the joke. Okay. So how it works is if Danny Ainge can use the media to force the Knicks' hands, that means the Knicks can use the media to force Danny Ainge's hands. Because I just listened to while I was off the screen, I was just listening to the whack Brian Windhorst interview with Rich Eisen, which is much ado about nothing. Basically saying Danny Ainge is ultimately going to accept what he wants, and the Knicks are going to have to pay it to get Donovan Mitchell. Well, whoop-de-doo, we know that about every player in the NBA that has ever been traded. Right? Every player that has ever been traded, right? A organization wants a certain thing or is willing to take a certain thing, and the other team has to pay it. So Brian Windhorst, they just put a clip out on YouTube that is much ado about nothing, right? So what we're saying, King Ant G, is if the Knicks are putting pressure on us about saying, well, I'm only going to accept what I'm going to accept for Donovan Mitchell, why can't the Knicks call Boston and ask about Jaylen Brown and let that leak to the media?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for the gamesmanship of it, I understand that part of it. And I'm glad you cleared that up, because I just hopped on like maybe 7 minutes ago, and I thought you guys were talking about like trading for Jaylen Brown, and I'm like, nah, anything we have, and they just went to the finals. They're not trading Jaylen Brown for nothing else but a superstar.
Yeah, but King Angie, we're not saying that it should make sense, because if you look at what Utah did, what they did doesn't make sense. Utah leaked out that that the Atlanta Hawks are interested in Donovan Mitchell when they had Trae Young and DeJounte Murray.
Or the Wizards. Where does he play in Washington? Like,
right.
But I'll say this.
And Atlanta don't even have any more picks left, right? Didn't they give up like crazy picks for DeJounte?
In the DeJounte Murray deal? That's what I'm saying.
Washington either. We have the rights to Washington's pick of right now, so they can't move anything for 3 or 4 years to that pick conveys. So, like, what are Washington giving up other than Bradley Beal?
Right.
The only one team that gives me cause for pause is probably Sacramento, because they could dangle Keegan Murray out there, and he looked fantastic in summer league. But man, let's just say that scenario plays out. I don't think you could have RJ Donovan and Jaylen Brown on one team. I think
no, you can't.
I think that's a misallocation of assets, right? So if you're gonna have Donovan and Jaylen Brown, what I would do with RJ is
but King Minnesota. Hey, King NG, nobody said Donovan and Jaylen Brown yet.
No, I'm saying in a couple years. You know, when Jaylen's a free agent, let's just play that hypothetical that like we can get Jaylen Brown. At that point, I know that Minnesota experiment is gonna fail. It's gonna fail. Minnesota fails at everything they do. So, man, if you tell me you can put Donovan, Jaylen Brown with Cat, it's different. Wait to see if that man becomes available. I'm not the biggest Jaylen Brown fan. I'm just gonna say that he can't put the ball in the floor the way I like a wing player too. Yeah, but I understand the whole part about using him as leverage. I don't think the Knicks need any more leverage. I think Utah is flailing at the win right now. They're just throwing anything out there to see what sticks. I think Leon's smart enough to understand what's going on. It'll get done. We'll overpay a little bit. I wouldn't even read too much into the reports today. Because like Freezy said, like I bet you guys have been saying, the teams don't make sense. So I think this was always going to happen. Stuff like this always happens right before a deal gets done. So I won't read too much into it, man. But the Jaylen Brown idea of Leon using the Celtics as some leverage is an interesting idea. It's interesting, and I didn't think of that.
And it's different from what you've been hearing. You've been hearing the same thing over and over again for like the past 3 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks are close with Danny Ainge, but they have to negotiate, right? That's what you've been hearing, right?
Right.
Danny Ainge ain't trading with none of those teams because Danny Ainge's number one's job is to tank this year. So I can't see him bringing in very good players on his team that's going to hurt his tank.
Like I said, the only person I can see him bringing in is Keegan Murray. Because Keegan Murray's not going to hurt his tank.
Yeah, but Keegan can't get traded till December, January.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
But yeah, once you sign your contract, you're dead for 90 days. That's it.
Man, this is all just like this is all a big game.
It's fluff. That's what it is. A big bag of fluff.
Like, the thing with trying to use Danny, like Boston, as leverage. Like Danny ain't just come from Boston. He could call them up. Is like, yo, the Knicks try to make offer for Brown. Like it's not like it's another organization. It's like he just come from there. He spent 20 odd years there.
No, but
you're not going to use Boston against him as leverage.
No, but what I think Freezy is saying is the Knicks can actually call Boston and make an offer. You understand what I'm saying? So like, so that it won't be fake. We know Boston's gonna say no to the offer.
It's kind of like what the Nets did for Carmelo. They made offers for Carmelo. They couldn't get him. They turned around, got Deron Williams.
Right.
What if Boston says yes?
They're not gonna say yes to that offer. That wouldn't make.
But they get a boatload of picks. Like they get the Donovan Mitchell package. You get 2 young players and 5 picks. They can easily swindle them picks for something else.
They don't want picks though. They want a superstar.
Yeah, the picks is not going to help them compete now.
And Jaylen Brown wouldn't be worth a Donovan Mitchell haul.
No.
Especially that he's closer to free agency. Especially that Boston wants to win now. And especially that they're not going to accept Fournier and Grimes. If we're doing a
Right.
Jaylen Brown deal, y'all baby RJ's gonna go.
No,
Yeah,
he's
hey
not.
Paris and
No, he's
Paris Duggar,
not.
thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says we could get Trey Young for 6 picks, OB and quickly.
No, we can't. Come on.
I do I do
No.
feel the sense of sarcasm there. So that is sarcasm. I feel you. I'm
I'll
laughing
say,
with you, Paris Duggar.
I'll say this though: the trade package Boston put up for Kevin Durant, like that wasn't that much more or different than what they're asking for Donovan Mitchell. Like I don't get it. Now it's more established players in that trade offer, and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, so it's a different type of package. But when you're talking about value, um, like I could argue 6 picks, first round picks are almost just as valuable as Jaylen Brown in the trade package, depending on what team you're trading it to. So like I just think Danny Ainge is like he's tripping. He's tripping. And if Leon Rose just ignores Knicks fans for a little bit longer and just waits it out, like the deal will get done.
That's another point. That's another point that I brought up before you got here. And since when are fans not important? Since when is Leon Rose the most important person in Knicks universe? Not the players, not the fans, but the front office.
Because his actions will shape our opinions for literally decades.
Right. Or I can email James Dolan right now and tell him my displeasure, and he will read it. And you guys know that. Y'all know James Dolan reads fans' emails. Y'all
He
know
values
this.
his customers. Yes, he does.
But how many trades? So like I'm of the belief that out of all the trades in the NBA, many of them go this exact same way, right? But when it's the Knicks involved, Danny Ainge makes it public because he knows the type of pressure that fans can apply. Like I think in every trade discussion in the league, there's the back and forth. There's moments where it heats up and then it dies down, and then like that's probably a normal occurrence in trade discussions for anything. You know what I mean? It seems like it's taking forever because it's being made public.
Key Angie, let me say this. No disrespect, bro. No disrespect, because I understand. You know, you my man, and for one, bro, you I've been a fan of yours for a lot of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say this because I think you're wrong. Only the Knicks get put on the public altar to get slaughtered. When other trades go down, it don't take 6 months, bro. It don't take this long. Only the Knicks get put in a situation where if we're going to trade for somebody or acquire somebody, the organization and fans are held with bated breath until something gets done or it doesn't.
But
Right. Because just hear me out. Just hear me out on this. How long did it take for Kevin Durant to sign with the Brooklyn Nets?
not long at all. But that's free agency. It doesn't
Right.
I feel like the other owners are scared.
Right. How long did it take? Right. How long did it take Kawhi Leonard to get traded to the Toronto Raptors?
Half a season.
Nah, you didn't even know. You didn't even know he was going to be traded.
But
You know, he
right?
kind of made it public. He had the injuries.
Pop
That's my
wasn't
point,
trying to
though,
trade him
because
to
we
the
didn't
Lakers at
know.
all. He was fighting
Right.
his path.
Freeze, it takes us so long because that one superstar coming to New York is going to shake the whole market, and then everybody's going to want to come depending on who that person is coming here. And I think owners are scared of that, and that's why it's so scared to get a deal done with New York, or they want to try to fleece us from everything.
So you agree? So you agree that we get put out on the altar for public display?
Yes,
I don't even know if
yes, it makes sense. It makes total sense
know if
because this Donovan deal would have been done already if it was any other team. But because it's New York, it's getting dragged out, and they want this amount of picks, and they want to take all of our youth. Any other team would have got done.
But no,
the only other deal that I can remember that drug out this long was the Anthony Davis trade, And that was because of the timeline in which the thing started. The rumor started in season. Then the trade deadline passed because it was too close to get something done. It played out into the summer. Nothing got done, right? And then it went into what? It went into, I can't remember how long it went, but then the deal got done. But it was because of the timing for that.
Kyrie too. Kyrie coming leaving Cleveland to go to Boston. He didn't get that trade done until the end of August, and he was out more or less a week. He made it public a week or two after the finals, so that took a little while, and that wasn't as many picks.
Some teams just don't want to trade with the Lakers too, though. Like they don't want to help the Lakers.
We have to look.
Pop.
My man Joe Madden just talked about Kyrie getting traded, right? Who was in charge of that? Danny Ainge. We have to look at who we're dealing with. Danny Ainge never makes a quick trade. And so what we have to, and we don't know how long the Rudy Gobert trade took because we didn't know what was happening.
And you know who was part of the other side of that trade, bro?
And G, that's not true because
Brock Eiler was part of the other side of that trade. He was part of the Cleveland team that traded Kyrie to Boston.
Right, but and you know what? And the thing is this dude traded for Kevin Durant in a finger snap. I mean, Kevin Garnett in a finger snap. And then once they got KD and Paul Pierce together, they were like, "Yo, we need some shooting," and they got Ray Allen in a finger snap.
Yeah, but that's him acquiring a star. Not giving one up. It's different when you're when you're the one giving up the star. Danny Ainge is stubborn. Like, I don't think this is a Knicks thing. I think it's a Danny Ainge thing. I think if this was anybody else, the trade is done. The trade would have been done a week ago. But we're dealing with Danny Ainge. And right. Danny Ainge plays hardball.
So you agree with it? So you agree with me then?
No, I think if it was any team in the NBA, Danny Ainge would be playing the same type of hardball.
Okay, we're talking about with any team.
I don't think so.
I think Danny Ainge, if it's any team in the league, he hasn't traded him anywhere else.
Because he knows the Knicks have what he needs.
He's trying to drive up the same time.
Yeah. Look what he just got for Rudy Gobert. He's not going to settle for something and then look like he's going to look stupid. He's going to look stupid for settling.
You know what, Freeze? I feel like maybe the Wolves trade was spontaneous, but I also don't feel like it was all that spontaneous because they drafted that Kessler Edwards dude, or what is his name? Walker Kessler? Yeah, Walker Kessler. They drafted him intentionally to ship him because they wanted that center. So it was like already in place because they can't trade a pick every year. So they decided, we're going to draft this guy, ship him, and then start trading these picks every other year because you can trade the rights to a player, but you can't just.
And the dude that's the team president, of the Timberwolves, he was with Walt Perrin when they drafted Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. So like
he always liked Rudy Gobert.
So this trade was already set up maybe weeks in advance. It just happened right after the draft to get it up out the way real quick. But it kind of maybe have backfired on Danny Ainge in terms of leverage.
Remember, we heard Minnesota were interested right before the draft, and then it started Atlanta are interested, Charlotte are interested. Basically, any team that needed a big man started getting thrown out there.
Yep.
And then next thing the deal was done. Yep. So he still played a little bit of leverage around the draft. Was like, oh, these other teams are interested. Atlanta made. There was rumors Atlanta made an offer of Clint Capella and a pick or two. This before they made the Murray trade, and there was all sorts of rumors. But eventually, it went back to the first initial rumor, which was the Timberwolves are interested.
Right, and my only point is we don't know how long, we don't know when those conversations actually began, right? Because it wasn't made public. Like those conversations could have began a month and a half ago. You would never know, right? But when the Knicks, Leon Rose could have been talking to Danny Ainge during the draft. You don't even know when these conversations began.
Yo, somebody frying some chicken.
Yeah, that chicken.
I think he was, bro. I think he knew something was going down and he wanted to.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I agree with him. I think he kind of knew there was, all right, I'm going to try and move up for Ivy, but if I'm not, I know Mitchell might be asking out soon. So I think they kind of were talking and before the draft or during the draft because you kind of now you're seeing why they traded out and got these picks. is for a move like this. So they kind of knew. I didn't know they might knew it was happening this summer, but they knew it was going to happen over the next 12 months.
I'm telling you, man, it seems like it's taking forever because we are getting a bird's eye view into everything. And normally as fans, we don't get that. We hear about the trade when it's almost done most of the time. Like we aren't normally walked through the entire negotiation. And right now we're being walked through the entire negotiation. And that's why it's feeling like it's taking forever. But and whose plan was that? Clearly Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is not a dumb man. He knows if I put out every little detail, Knicks fans are gonna start the impatience and the pressure is gonna start building from the fans. And that's exactly
even that's how everybody's making money off of this. Like Freezy said about this, how long do you think? Because ESPN are gonna love this. Every video they do with the Knicks now is getting a couple of million views. And that's putting money in the pocket. So a deal like the initial rumors that Utah could be done or 99% done, but they're just gonna hold out of this for the media storm, and they might hold out for 2 or 3 more weeks just for the media storm. So because something come out of Utah, and to me it was a slip up, and they're kind of going back and retracting it, and now you're saying, oh, other teams are interested. So to me, it's like maybe the deal's done, and they're just waiting just to keep making money and getting clicks off of this.
You know what was interesting to me? I don't know if any of you noticed, but a report came out in that same article, I believe, about teams interested in Russell Westbrook, and the Knicks and Jazz were both among those 3 teams that were mentioned. I found that interesting.
Maybe 3-team deal.
Yeah, a 3-team deal could be in the works. That first round pick, and to get the Knicks, that expiring or that contract they could waive. So, like I said, I think we'll get him, man. Danny Ainge is playing master manipulator. I think he kind of ran into his match. I think we all underestimated Leon Rose. And I think if Leon Rose gets the hunch that Donovan is about to be traded somewhere else and it's legit, I think he'll pony up and give Ainge what he wants. So either way,
he's his agency basically. Basically, it's his brother and it's family of his that's running Donovan's agency, so they know if there's a deal coming. And I think if there's another deal, eventually Danny Ainge will go back to the Knicks and be like, "This is a deal I have in place. Can you do better, or do you want to do better?" Because he knows they will do better. They have to do better because they have the assets to do it. So I think eventually, I think he's going to be in Nick.
I'm gonna say this, bro. I'm a very patient man, bro. Very patient, right? Yo, I take my puppy out in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, and let him romp until he uses the bathroom. I'm very patient, bro. Right? But if this deal ain't done by July 31st, all you're gonna hear from me is what we can do to get the Thompson twins. That's it.
But Freezy,
I don't want to hear nothing else.
But Freezy, right? A week ago, Shams told us, Woj told us, this could take anywhere between days to weeks to the rest of the offseason. So this shouldn't be new information to us.
Let's go to training camp, maybe.
We just wanted it to happen earlier.
I never said that, bro. And the thing is about those guys, I'm sure they're smart individuals, right? But as far as I go, my personal decision has been made. Right? My personal decision has been made. I'm a fan that spends money. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm a fan that spends money and time. Y'all see how many times, bro? Do y'all see? Bro, I've been on this channel 3 times today already. Right, going on 4 hours a piece. Right. I can legit email James Dolan right now, and James Dolan reads fan email. Right. I can email Dolan. Hey man, listen, I'm about to stop spending money with y'all. And I'm about to convert this channel into a Brooklyn Nets channel. Right? And y'all know I never do that. Y'all know I love the Knicks too much.
Black and white tears, man.
Nah, Freezy, don't do that, because next thing he's going to trade all 8 picks for him. Next thing you're going to see in the morning, you'd be like, Donovan Mitchell the Knicks, 8 picks, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel quickly.
And then I have to eat my words and be on here like black tears, white tears, gray tears. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to do that, bro. Y'all know I'm joking. Y'all know I'm joking with that part, right?
Hey, Freezy, but you know what, Freezy?
But at some point though, you have to consider the fans, man. That's what I'm saying.
That means we falling right into Danny Ainge's trap. That's my point. Danny Ainge did this to you on purpose, he did this to you on purpose, and he's manipulating you, man. He wants you to send that email.
You're giving him what he wants.
But King Angie,
he wants the pressure.
Right, but let me tell y'all something, man. I went to the Knicks playoff games in Atlanta, right? Bro, do you know, man, I spent $668 a night in a hotel.
Man.
$668. And yeah, it was nice. And they gave you robes and stuff. But listen,
okay.
for 4 nights, is that worth it?
Oof.
For 4 nights. That's not worth it. Is it the suite that we got was $3,000 per game.
That's rent.
We all split the price. I didn't pay for all of that out of pocket. Right? The hotel room I did ain't nobody. Hey, I love y'all, man. Joe, man, I love y'all, man, but y'all ain't staying in the hotel room with me, bro. Y'all got to get your own hotel room now. We go to the game together.
We in Atlanta. There is some stuff going down, man.
Yeah. I mean, I love y'all and everything, but I love y'all, but I just can't see getting out the shower and Knicks fans in the room. Nah, no, thank you. but what I'm getting at.
I'm taking the soap. I'm taking the towels. I'm taking the robe.
Everything, right? But what I'm getting at though is this, man. At some point, you got to consider the fans, man. You can't. This can't be ain't nothing worse than 2 dudes in the middle of the street trying to fight, and you got your kids outside playing. 2 dudes out there, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Mo, you done? And your kids is out there riding their big wheels and stuff. You don't want, nah, man. You don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man.
You want the franchise. You want it to be a Knicks democracy, not a dictatorship.
Man. I mean, come on. Our voice has to be heard at some point, man. It's the reason why we even have a YouTube channel.
Whose voice?
Joe know that. Joe, you remember what it's like calling in the Michael K show to say something about the Knicks and Yankees, and they put you on hold for like 58 minutes. And then be like, yo, is Joe from Long Island? Hey, Joe, I love the Yankees. And he's like, well, thank you for calling, Joe. You know what I'm saying? You like, I ain't even get a chance to say nothing. I ain't even get a chance to say nothing.
They've never picked up.
Oh yeah, man.
My phone battery died several times on them.
Right.
So Freeze, my only question to you would be, what fans do they need to think about? Because as fans, we don't even agree.
All of us.
There's some fans that if Leon overpays and makes that trade, these fans are going to be livid, right?
Let me do the super chat, bro. Let me do the super chat real quick before I get old, and then just go ahead and rock, bro. I'm gonna read the super chat, and you go ahead and rock, man, as long as you want. Well, not as long as you want, but you know what I'm saying. So Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. He says Hershey Walker went for 11 picks equals Dallas dynasty. We don't care nothing about the Utah dynasty, though, bro. We care about what we have. Go ahead, King Angie. I'm sorry, bro.
Nah, I was just saying, like, this the fans are not like on one opinion right now. So Leon Rose waiting and playing hardball is exactly what some of the fans want. You want to so if he says, you know what, we're backing out of this deal, some fans are going to be upset. If he says we're going to overpay for Donovan Mitchell, some fans are going to be upset. If he plays hardball and waits it out, some fans are going to be upset. So Leon Rose is in a lose-lose situation with Knicks fans right now. No matter what he does, a third of the fan base is going to be upset. And so it's kind of hard for him to listen to the fan base when the fan base is not. We don't agree at all on how any of this is going and what the outcome should be. There's some fans that don't even want Donovan Mitchell. Period. So it's. I mean, I don't know what.
And if we're going by Leon Rose's track record, this is gonna wait out for a minute because he's been pretty patient as far as moves for this team, and he's never really lost a trade. So it's gonna take a minute.
And if we wait to get Donovan Mitchell, I don't see how that hurts us. Because if we don't get him or if we wait, we're not going to have him now. So, I mean, I don't see how it hurts us.
But Angie, this is not about everybody in total. This is about, and no disrespect to other Knicks fans, but this is about me. This is about me. This is me about me and my fandom. Right, this is about me and my fandom, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Gregory Castro said this is your villain. I mean your villain origin story, man. This is.
It's about me too, though, Freezy. I don't want to see this team deplete of assets and have no future because the old timers weren't patient to see winning.
Hey, Joe, have you ever seen the Knicks in the playoffs 3 years back to back?
No.
And yet you are saying be patient, right?
I hear you, Freezy. I hear you.
I want to see playoffs consistently.
But,
I don't wanna bring in a guy and overpay for a couple of playoff appearances, and the next thing you're capped out and you're rebuilding again, but you're rebuilding with no assets. So that's where I'm at. I'm patient because I see the long-term view of the franchise, and it's not cleaning out your whole chest just to get Donovan in here because Danny Ainge said so, and the fan base says so.
I feel you, and so this is how I know Joe is on the right track, right? And I'm telling y'all that I'm unreasonable, but Joe is young with a head full of hair, good looking, with a big bank account and a fast car, right? That's Joe. Joe probably drive a Ferrari. He probably got a head full of hair. You know what I'm saying? Got a big bank account, and all he has on what he has more than money and cars is time. Me
and maybe a woman.
I'm the fat guy in a bad car and no hair, and my bank account is not full, bro. And I don't have a lot of time, bro. I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, man.
But even though the both of us are, Joe is just as passionate about these Knicks as I am, right? But we just root from different positions, right? But Joe doesn't know what it feels like to lose in a playoff series, be in the Garden and lose in a playoff series to say a generational talent like Michael Jordan. Legit, I was 2,000 feet away from Michael Jordan. I was like, yo, there's Jordan right there right now celebrating. That's all right. They won this year, but we'll get them next year. And then we actually get a chance to play them next year. Joe Madden don't know what that feeling is like, right? That's why he's saying, be patient and build the right way. Personally, I know that you can't take any situation for granted because nothing tomorrow is promised. You have to seize the moment.
And I agree, man. I don't want us to be patient in the long run. That ain't what I'm saying at all. I'm talking about for the next couple of weeks. Because hear me out. If we don't get Donovan Mitchell, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm not gonna be happy.
And for those that are listening, I'm not being disrespectful to Joe Madden. I'm being totally respectful. That's my man. That's my man. Me and Joe have been rocking together for a long time. I think where Joe went? Joe still here? Joe might have disappeared, but he'll be back. But the thing is about me and cats like Joe Madden and King Ant G, we've been doing this late night thing and now midday thing for a long time, talking about these Knicks.
We was talking about Scrubs at the beginning, man.
Yeah, we was talking about Joakim Noah. When is Joakim Noah gonna get healthy? Y'all remember that?
Yep.
And Freezy, let me just real quick, just piggyback off of one of the fans gonna be important to this organization. And in short, the answer is never. James Dolan has been forcing suspect moves for a minute. If he could kick Charles Oakley out the Garden and not really care, and we still showing up to these games, he ain't gonna care. It ain't like the Hawks where when they don't do good, nobody show up. We ain't been good in 2 decades, and that Garden is packed every single night.
Right.
Jerseys is being sold every single day.
Right.
Like we spoke about last week. I just bought me some Knicks paraphernalia last week.
Right.
We still and from a fan perspective, you want to feel that makes a difference and that's important to the organization. James Dolan don't care, bro.
And I'll say this too. A lot of the disconnect between Knicks fans is you have a segment of Knicks fans that is championship or bust, right? The only thing they can think about is, can this team win a championship, right? But we got to look at some of the older Knicks fans who talk about the 90s like it was the best time of their life, watching the Knicks, right?
Right.
They never won a championship. And as Knicks fans, we got to understand that being good is fun. Being good is fun. And every move is not about winning a championship. Like
also,
I
piggyback.
want to be good. Once we're good, then the opportunities to win a championship will present itself. But I'll enjoy just being good for an extended period of time. To me, the championship is not the goal. I want to be good. And if a championship comes out of that, cool. But I want to have fun watching the New York Knicks. That's all I ask.
In addition, also, we're not giving up the farm. They keep saying we're giving up everything. We're giving up maybe 2 of your favorite players, right? And 6 picks that are recoverable. We can recover from those picks. So it's not like we're depleting the team. We're giving up, a pig that could make 10 ham sandwiches out of. Yes. But the guys we're giving up, Fournier and maybe 2 or 3 of your young guys that you love, and then the picks which can be recovered. It's not a zero return. Right? So that's not like we're making the team better with that move alone. But yeah, I'd hate for Obi to be gone. I'd hate to watch Ike and Obi come to the Garden and have them both put up, 40 each and triple-double for IQ. And then Obi put up, a 40-10 game and be like, oh, you guys want to keep Randall over me? He's 20-10-5, I'm 40-10-5. That'd be like crazy. But if we're winning, yes, but we're not depleting the team. We're simply giving up some of your favorite young players. And again, I struggle with it too. I told you guys, every time I listen to you guys, I change my mind every 5 minutes going, that's right. But Utah is going to be losing the value, like Freezer said. They're going to lose the team overall value, going to be dropped in the moment they let go of Donovan. That team goes from worth, $1 billion to $800,000 in a second. And people are like, oh, but Knicks.
And they also know the Knicks are the richest one of the richest franchises in sports and the richest in the NBA. And their money goes up because the marketing Spider brings here, like what I used to say, like you see it on Twitter where you nickname Spider and then you have Spider-Man New York. Like the marketing there is it's gold. It's going to be a cash cow. And Utah and teams in the league know it. So that's why they're trying to get the Knicks to overpay because they know money-wise they're good.
Exactly. Right. Sarge, if you have a farm and it's a half an acre and you got a 3-leg cow and a chicken, and somebody comes and say, hey, you can give me this farm and I'll give you this fully loaded, custom-made Ferrari. Yeah, you're giving up the farm, but you didn't have much on the farm anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So take the 3-leg chicken and the cow. The 3-leg cow and the chicken. Take it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a farm, but it ain't much.
It ain't much. Yep. And you're still gonna have. It's actually more like you have a 20-acre farm and they say, "Can we take half?" And you're like 10 acres, but then here's a supreme crop that's gonna make you 10 times what your previous crop was making you. Or here's a bull that's gonna produce 20 kids. He's gonna be there all day just feasting. We're just gonna give up. Yeah, we lose 10 acres, but at the same time, man, the remaining 10 acres is gonna be flourishing.
Right.
Flourishing.
Yeah, man. Things. Yeah, man. All I can say to that is I think all of y'all are right. Every point I heard makes sense in my mind.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not conceding anything because I don't want to believe that the way I was thinking coming in is the way that I'll be thinking going out. You know what I'm saying? That makes me think that I have to put more thought into what I bring to the table. But then at the same time, you kind of appreciate everybody being smart. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things like what Joe was mentioning earlier. I didn't necessarily agree at the time about the asset management piece of it. I just think about the asset accumulator is always going to be an asset accumulator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, feel me? I just think a group of people that can put that can find assets and resources from anywhere and are good at it won't just be not good anymore after they do a trade.
But see, the thing is, Freezy, though, is you got to look. He turned a lottery pick into future picks. Him bringing in Donovan Mitchell and having RJ Barrett and these guys getting this paid money. If this team's a lottery team anytime soon, he's getting fired.
Yep.
Right.
So where do you have the asset then to move? Unless one of the other picks, which might, if you keep one of like the Washington or Detroit or one of the other picks and they land, maybe late lottery, you can do it. But you were hoping none of your other picks are in that position for you to trade back or trade out to get the other extra picks down the line.
I agree.
And I'll say this too. We say all the time, you don't overpay. Wait for the next star. Wait for the next one, right? And in the last 20 years, how many of those guys have we gotten? I don't know. I'll say before then, because Patrick Ewing was drafted, right? In the Knicks' existence, how many of those guys have we gotten, right? Outside of the draft. It's not many of them. So when you tell me to wait for the next guy, that next guy, if I'm looking at history, most likely is never coming, right? So when you have the opportunity to get one, like Freezy said, you got to seize that moment, right? Because it may be 10 years from now before we have another opportunity like this. How do I know that? Because the last guy we had in Melo, we got how long ago? Like 10 years ago. Decade.
Yeah, about 12 years ago. Yeah.
It's a decade. And every year we find a new star that we convince ourselves wants to come to the Knicks. Cat's going to want to come. Zion wants to come. Bradley Beal's going to want to come. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, we convince ourselves that, this guy's going to want to come. They never come. So when you can go get a guy through trade.
And we never give them a reason to come anyway.
Right, but like this is the opportunity where Donovan Mitchell doesn't have an option. The ball's in our court. We don't have to convince anybody to sign with us. He doesn't have to even want to. The ball's in our court, right? You go get that guy.
Right. Because the thing is that he actually wants to, and he's cheap. His salary is actually cheap.
Right, and that's gravy right there. The fact that he wants to be here is gravy. But like, you go get that guy because you don't know if this opportunity is ever going to come again. And worst case scenario, you get Donovan Mitchell. You never win a championship, but you're a good basketball team. And you watch enjoyable basketball, and you have a chance. And in the NBA, the only thing you can do is give yourself a chance. And right now, in this East, we don't have a chance. We have to give ourselves a chance. And I think it's that simple. Don't give up everything. I agree. Leon, do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, Leon Rose has to make sure Donovan Mitchell was in it. And at the end of it all, if that means overpaying a little bit, I believe Leon has to do it. Because if he doesn't do it, Leon's done. What else was he brought here to do? His contract is up in a couple of years. There's no other guys that are obvious, that are like obvious for him to go get. This is his moment to strike, and he has to strike now. Because Leon's legacy with the Knicks is right now. If he doesn't do it now, he might as well just quit and let the next guy take over. Right? I think he has to do this move, and that's why I think it's gonna get done. Because Leon has to do it. And either he's gonna go down with the ship. Either it's gonna work or it's not gonna work. But he has to give himself a chance. And that's why I wouldn't stress too much if I was you, man. Donovan, he'll be here, and then we'll see if it was worth it or not. But I wouldn't be too caught up on being afraid of it not working. Because guess what? This ain't working. Last year ain't worked, right? It hasn't been working. So you have to try something else. And bringing in a guy of Donovan's caliber, it gives you a better chance. So don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't scare yourself out of trading for a 25-year-old star. Don't get caught up in semantics. Is he a superstar? It's like you're thinking too hard about it. He's a very good basketball player. We haven't had a talent like his in a decade. Go get the guy, man, and give up your three-legged cow and your chicken and your half an acre. It's worth it. I promise you.
Right. Just do it and get it over with, bro. Because at the end of the day, you can find another three-legged cow.
You can.
Right. That's what I'm getting at, man. You know, I mean, just go ahead and do it and just get it over with, man. And you know, 5,000 because I listen, man. I'm not all or nothing. I'm very patient, right? But at some point, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying, man. This whole thing stretching out over 6 months, I'm not getting ready to do that. I'm not getting ready to invest emotionally in something that could be done in a day.
Yeah, 6 months.
Because ultimately, Leon Rose can fly to Utah, or Danny Ainge can fly to New York, and they can sit in the conference room and get this done in an afternoon. Maybe less than that. Maybe less than the afternoon. Right? I've been in these situations, bro, where the two dudes are huffing and puffing about assets and all this stuff and what it'll do for the company and blah blah blah. And then they get together and they do it in a span of 2 hours in a conference room. I already been through this scenario about 70 or 80 times. That's why I know this stuff is BS.
And Freezy, what's gonna happen is, man, we're gonna be in the middle of the season. We're gonna just be coming off a loss where Emmanuel could quickly drop 8 points on 3 for 14 shooting. Obi Toppin came in, was inefficient, didn't rebound the ball. And across the league somewhere, Donovan Mitchell is gonna just have dropped a 60 piece on a San Antonio Spurs. And we're gonna be depressed.
We're going to end up giving up the same thing we would have given up now. We're going to give up the same thing then because we're going to be desperate. You see, even more desperate than we are now.
And I always hear, the longer we wait, we could play our young guys and raise their value. Do you know the opposite could happen?
Yeah,
we could play our young guys and their value gets worse because they're not
get exposed.
Right. Yep. Remember Jeremy Lin where he was setting the world on fire? And then he played Miami, and they exposed every single flaw in his game, right? The Knicks young guys, whether we trade for Donovan Mitchell or not, they're going to have a microscope on them next year. Because if we don't trade for Donovan Mitchell because we held on to these guys, the amount of pressure, Obi Toppin, the amount of pressure that's going to be in Emmanuel quickly to become something is going to be immense. And the moment these guys start underperforming or aren't what we thought they were, they're going to get it. The guard is going to – Knicks fans are going to get impatient, right? And then you end up trading all these guys for Donovan Mitchell. Then you ain't just going to – so, man, the price can be lowered by waiting, but the price can also go up. Especially,
the odds are worse against us if we hold on it because two things could happen. They go down in value, or three, they go down in value, remain the same, or go up in value. Right. If they go down in value, then we're screwed. Yep. If they remain the same, we're worse off than we are.
Screwed.
Could have made the move. So the only thing only 1/3 of one possible of those three things can happen to make us in a better situation next year. So the odds are against us to make the move. If we're looking at it from the point of view of our use value, the odds are 67% that we will be in a worse position because we'll have wasted 6 months. We could have had Donovan in here blending right away with Brunson and having a team take off, then wait 6 months and go, okay, we'll take the deal. And Ainge will be like, well, you guys suck, man. Give me somebody else.
Or Donovan takes another step. Step in his development. Goes back to Utah and is playing at the MVP level. And then the Ainge says, well, hell, why would I trade him now? Let's build around this 26-year-old MVP candidate.
And the odds for that is higher because three things can happen. He gets worse, which is very unlikely. Him staying the same is possible. Him getting better, which is likely. So it's actually against us in that direction as well to get him over here because he's not going to get worse. He is going to be a baller, more experienced. So, so that is another possibility to think about.
There's a world where he goes back to Utah and lights the world on fire. And then what?
Right. Exactly.
And now they want RJ Barrett too. Yeah, Marty, you know what? Now we want RJ too because this guy is averaging 27 MVP candidate. We're in the playoffs, right? Playoff contention. Give us RJ Barrett too.
I'm gonna make Freezer change his channel to the Utah Jazz channel.
Yeah, blue tears, yellow tears, green tears. Take note.
So man, a lot can happen by waiting. A lot that's good for us. It may end up being good for us, but realize you're taking a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or what if one of these teams at the trade deadline that are underachieving? What if Washington says, you know what, we're gonna unload Bradley Beal and Porzingis and get a bunch of first round draft picks and let's go get Donovan Mitchell in Washington. What if anything could happen? Teams can get the assets very quickly.
Yeah.
Teams can get the assets very quickly. So waiting, a lot of bad things can happen, man. I go get him while you're the favorite, because it's not guaranteed you're gonna remain a favorite to get him.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all, I gotta get out of here. For the
Yes,
love of the
sir.
game is on, and I didn't want to trample all over them. So they're on right now. I put the link in the chat, man. You guys click that link and go holler at them boys, man. Support them. I'm gonna go over there for a few minutes, because I gotta do some Knicks at Night podcast prep work and such before we rock. Hey, King Ant G. Hey, you gonna be able to come through for the Knicks at Night podcast?
Yeah, I should be around.
Okay. Hey, everybody. As a matter of fact, everybody. I should have just asked. I was gonna ask all of y'all at once. I mean, ask all of y'all just individual, but I could just ask everybody at once. At one time, y'all will be available to come back for the Knicks at Night podcast.
Yeah, what time you want to have on?
Yeah.
Well, you
I'm
didn't ask me first. You didn't ask me first, so you waited too long. Like the Knicks.
Yeah, I know.
I know. You just lost some value.
I know, man. I know, man. My bad, man. My bad.
Well, I still make a deal.
So I'm shooting for 10 for 10 o'clock. It may be 11, but it'll definitely be sometime between 10 and 11. It depends on how fast I can get the prep work done for vibes and stuff, and get some work done for this job. Okay. And so it'll be sometime between there. But I'm gonna rock for a while though. It'll probably be like 4 or 5 hours.
You got it, boss.
I'll be around.
That's what I'm doing. Now I ain't asking everybody to do that, but that's just, So it's or like 4 hours. So it might be like 10 to 2.
I'm in between jobs right now. I got you, Freeze.
All right, no doubt, bro. I'll see you in a little bit, bro.
All right, man.
All right.
All right, peace, everybody.